जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ
Hyderabad 50 express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो.
We said it's going to be a blockbuster Sunday, and wow, we've got a cracker of a game. I'm Saiyami Kher, and I have Shaun Pollock and Joy Bhattacharjya with me. At the comm box, you all are both not there. I said Rajasthan's going to need a miracle. They didn't need a miracle. They just had Hetmyer and Sanju Samson. What a knock by Hetmyer.
Absolutely fantastic. And I mean, not just, you see it all the way through. Each of the batsmen comes in and does their job. Hetmyer is 56 of 26. Jurel 18 of 10. But even somebody like an Ashwin 10 of 3. All of them came to the party. And you're seeing just the batsmen who scored at the top, but all of them and the way that collective effort made. Two things. One is this is the highest quality game in the tournament so far by a mile in terms of the quality of batting on both sides and the quality of bowling on both sides. And to lose the likes of Joss Buttler in the first over for a duck and to come back and win a game against this attack is absolutely outstanding. This is really good cricket and this is really well played by Rajasthan. Outstanding game.
Yeah. Shaun 4 for 2. They were 4 for 2 and I'd said, oh, looks like we're going to have an early night. But clearly not, because like Joy said, they're top quality teams and it just shows us this is the final. We had it last year, but these are the best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, it was. What a game to watch. I think that was probably one of the 4 best overs I've seen up front in the tournament with regards to the two of them. Hardik and Shami were absolutely superb. The amount of movement they got, the areas they hit, the trouble they caused, the play and misses. And then to pick up those wickets and put them on the back foot, you thought the game was done and dusted. Sanju Samson was hanging around. You knew Hetmyer was coming, but you thought it was going to be too big of an ask. And I think there were some key moments. I think that one over off Rashid Khan, where
the 3 sixes.
Yeah, 3 sixes one. I mean, who would have thought at that stage? And that kind of just created a little bit of belief. And then Hetmyer started to get going, and he was superb. And as you say, Ashwin was really good, but. I mean, Shami disappeared a little bit at the end there, and he still ended up with 3 for 25. His figures were unbelievable. I mean, look at that, 18 dot balls. Hardik, 14 dot balls, 1 for 24. Alzari Joseph was a little bit expensive, but he was also one of those guys who kind of flew under the radar. You didn't think he had a bad day. There was a couple of big shots. Rashid Khan, 2 for, but he goes for 46, which is not what you're accustomed to for him. But yeah, what a turnaround. I mean, that must give the Rajasthan a lot of self-belief. They've lost all 3 games and it looked like they were 0 from 4. So to turn that around at this stage of the tournament is a real boost for them. And leaves Gujarat with just a few little questions. That's the second time now where you felt they should have closed out the game, should have taken the points, and they didn't do it.
But well, they should have and could have. But when there is someone like a Hetmyer at the other end, he's just consistently come. He said, whatever the target is, I'll come and finish the game for you. He just consistently come and finished games. Even today, 56, 20 out of 26 balls, strike rate 200 plus is just a usual for him, clearly.
Clearly, and he picked his spots. He did it really well, and he did it without taking any unnecessary risks. You know, the body structure he has a lot of power. So he gets under the ball. And in a ground like this, this is not the smallest ground. This is not the 1K day, that you can, or Chinnaswamy. To clear, you need real power. And he just showed how much power he had. But he picked his shots. He picked his time. When Sanju Samson was going, he was content to get a sense of the pitch. Pick 1 or 2 shots where he got the ball in the right places. But he didn't take risks. And that partnership is just superb. Sanju Samson, 39 of 13. And see, Hetmyer is 20 or 14.
Yes.
He's not really pressing at that point in time. Hetmyer starts going when Sanju's gone. And I think that's what they did so beautifully. Somebody or they walked in, Jurel walks in, hits, Hetmyer's on the other side. Ashwin comes in, hits, Hetmyer comes, then Hetmyer gets going. So it's beautifully done. I mean, and never did they allow that pace to flag. Once they started chasing in earnest, they never allowed the pace to flag.
Yeah, the other thing is, I mean, I sat in South Africa. He wasn't part of the West Indies squad, and I thought to myself, oh, I wonder where he's gone. Maybe gone off the boil.
Yeah.
You think he should be part? You think he should be part of it now?
No, but so last year as well, he had a stunning year last year for them. And all disciplinary problems told. There's this great story about Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. he had a general called General Grant, and somebody told him that, Grant drinks too much, and he says that, just tell me what whiskey he drinks so I can send it to my other generals. So if Hetmyer has an attitude problem, please give my attitude problem to the other players, because certainly with that kind of performance, even last year in the IPL, against that quality of opposition, he was the ultimate finisher. So what they're doing by not taking a player of this quality, I just don't understand.
But Shaun, 65 runs in the last 4 overs. So, the other day Harsha spoke about this. How much is enough? Because with 65 runs you need 65 and 4 overs. Hetmyer clearly doesn't think that's an uphill task, because he's just playing it, timing it correctly, saying this is how much I'm going to go for, this is when I'm going to accelerate. He pretty much got everything on track today.
Yeah, well, look at that. So 65 for 2 and 61 for 2. So, I mean, that's what, 120 odd in the last 10 overs. I mean, that's proper striking. Look at the strike rate, 12 and 15.
In the last 9.2 overs, not even 10 overs.
Yeah.
And just against that quality bowling. So it's
some interesting calls out there. I mean, bringing on Noor Mohammad, trying to get a spinner in, and he bowled well. He got that very vital wicket. But again, see, you bowled him in the last over, I can quite understand. Because, when you have a target like 7, you're going to take a risk. I mean, you just say that, let me throw something at the batsman that he's going to do something different. And that's the risk they had to take. But before that, using the fact that they had as a strategy getting Noor Mohammad there at the end to be a, specialist impact player is an interesting choice. It worked to a certain extent, but obviously it didn't work to the extent that he could win them the match. But interesting. So everything, they also changed tactics, but it didn't work for them.
It also leaves you thinking, I mean, I don't know, I'm not involved in camps anymore, so it'd be nice to kind of be in a camp and work out what's the thought process going through the bowlers' minds. Because, I mean, it's more and more the case that the guys are knocking off these massive scores, and there must be something you can do, whether it's to the psyche of the bowlers or game plan-wise, where they can implement. Because particularly the seamers, sometimes the spinners are still doing a kind of a job. But too often the fast bowlers come on and it just looks like they're cannon fodder. It looks like they're bowling machines, and out the ground they go. So, I suppose it would be nice to try and come up with an idea of how we can help them.
Well, Ashish Nehra was all over trying to give all the ideas he could, but clearly didn't work today. But they went to a Noor in the last over. Alzari had 1 over left, but probably he was very expensive, which is why they went ahead with his spinner.
No, also when you have a target like 7, okay, it's not a defendable target. Something stupid has to happen. The guy has to take a risk. So with a leg spinner, you're trying to stake with the left arm leg spinner, you're trying to take a risk that he hits across the line, puts one up. Because if it's a fast bowler, he knows what he's going to do. He's just going to pat it back, because all you need to do is get singles and you're going to reach there.
I think it also was dictated to by who was on strike. Hetmyer loves the pace on the ball, so that might have been why they decided not to go. I mean, just maybe the mystery would have worked. But yeah, you call in all pockets with only 7 to defend and you've got to go on 50. You're not going to win those ones too often.
But everyone at the top looked great. We spoke about Shami's ball moving around like a test match. Hardik bowled all his 4 overs. It was all looking so beautiful, and then it just all went downhill. Do you think Hardik probably should have held himself back for the death overs?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about it. I mean, I really was impressed. I haven't seen him. I mean, I've heard things about how he's worked on his game a touch. But he was getting the ball to shape both ways. Great wrist position, ball was coming out sweetly. So he's obviously in the last month or two put some work into what he wants to do. And sometimes I'm actually a fan. I think after 6 overs, you've got the likes of Alzari Joseph still to come, Rashid Khan.
Mohit Sharma, even Mohit bowled.
Mohit bowled pretty well. You don't think I have to keep myself, because those guys are gun experienced. They've got so much experience that you would think they'll get the job done. I mean, Rashid doesn't often disappear for 40, does he?
Yeah, and 20 and over.
Yes.
So
Those
I think
3 sixes really did him, yes.
So I think the fact that he was on a run and you're doing such a good job, I have no problem every once in a while them finishing their overs, because, I mean, Hardik's not really, the death isn't really a massive strength of his. Yes, he can do a job.
Yeah.
But I think he was going so well up front.
But
So yeah, it's going to leave that problem for them, because that means that you didn't close with 29 in the last over. You couldn't close with 65, runs there. So somewhere you have to ask yourself the question, they obviously, Noor Ahmed is the person they took as a choice, because Shami is not comfortable bowling at the death. That's been very clear for a very long time. I think they wanted Mohit Sharma to bowl at the death, but they just felt that they couldn't risk him at that point in time. Shami was a better bowler. Everyone would say somebody who's bowled 3 overs for 9 for a wicket, how are you not bringing him back? So I think they tried to do that. there are problems there. And if there's a chink in the armor, it's that. Because I think their batting is brilliant. They're an excellent team. Their upfront bowling is really good. Rashid Khan is going to, how many days like this is he going to have?
Yes.
This is not going to happen. This happens once in a blue moon. But there is a death bowling issue now that is the elephant in the room that they need to address at some point.
If they were concerned too, they probably would have brought Little in, wouldn't they, as the replacement impact player. And he ended up just sitting on the side. So I don't think they thought it was even going to go to the death. I thought they were going to wrap up the game.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, well, this is an opportunity to get our mystery spinner in. And he'll bowl a few overs, maybe pick up a wicket or two, and we'll be a happy camp.
Yeah,
they didn't account for Samson and Hetmyer.
We have to get Samson into the discussion because I feel, it's really unfair. He's spoken of very little and he's done so much. He's 3,000 plus runs for Rajasthan. He's one bona fide star who's spoken of very little. So just a little bit on what Sanju's done again today.
No, absolutely. And every year he's upped his performance. He was a 300 plus player. He's become a 400 plus player. Now late 400 player. The crazy thing about Samson is this year I was saying that, Samson's done nothing because I remember the last couple of matches he didn't get any runs. And then I saw that in the first 4 matches he had 52, 42, then 2 ducks and then today's innings. I mean, he is an amazing striker, and why Samson is not regularly playing for India. Can somebody please explain to me? Because for the life of me, I do not understand that a person who can hit somebody of the quality of Rashid Khan for 20 and over and somebody who can hit a fast bowler off the back foot straight over his head for 6, why is that man with that kind of timing not playing for India regularly is a mystery to me. I'm sorry.
Well, this is a Joy factor which even Joy has no answer to. So clearly it's a really, really tricky question. If Joy Bhattacharya doesn't have answer to it.
It might be the question tomorrow.
I know who I want to ask the question to though.
Okay, just checking. You can tell me that off air.
No, but Shaun, even a little bit on his captaincy because he's been so impressive with the bat. He doesn't take the pressure as a batsman when he's batting. He's a batsman, he's not a captain. So he's just done both the roles so beautifully well.
Yeah, you have to learn the art of eliminating that. And he's also got the likes of Butler around him. So I'm sure he asks him for ideas. But taking on the gloves, seeing it from that perspective, I think he's conducted his troops nicely. He would have been a little bit disappointed at a few periods there in their game when they were bowling today. But, he took it on his shoulders to be the one who was going to give them a chance. And then he got him to a stage where they could, and Hetmyer did the rest of it.
I'll tell you one more thing. I think it's a sign of a good camp and good captaincy was something you were talking about before, Shaun. How charged up Ashwin was, how involved Ashwin was. When he saw him batting, he hit the shot and he was like, wow, I've hit it. I'm going to whack it, I'm going to win this game. And that's an Ashwin who's charged up. That means a senior pro who's won many championships in the past. You suddenly make him interested in the game and, involved in the game. And that shows that that's a very united team and that has to be, the captain, the coach, all play a huge part.
Yeah, you can't take away from him. To walk in those 3 deliveries, what did he get, 10 off 3?
10, he got 1-6, 1-4, which is a game-changing.
It was huge at that time.
Yeah, huge.
Because I even forgot that he was coming.
Exactly.
Sometimes you forget who's in the batting lineup with all the changes and that. And the next thing he was there and I thought, okay, well, let's see what he can do. Bang, bang. And that just kept the momentum going.
Absolutely.
They won with 4 balls to spare. Yeah. It was a doddle.
No, but even Jurel, I think he's somebody who's been very impressive as well. So, like with Gujarat, there have been people who just constantly putting their hand up. Looks like it's rubbing off onto Rajasthan. Everyone saying, okay, we are in, we'll chip in.
There's
very
one hand
important.
that hasn't yet gone up, but we'll discuss that sometime.
Jurel played
One
nicely
hand
as well,
hasn't-
right? Jurel played nicely. Nice too. They walk in, run the first one past, a beautiful shot straight down.
This is the second great innings he's played. And twice he's finished well. And the third also he's done well. He's a really talented player. Again, another under-19 star from the same batch as Yashasvi. Really, really good striker of the ball. Not getting enough opportunities. I think he's got his opportunities this year. He's making the most of it. And I think he has to play on a regular basis for Rajasthan again.
So, because you touched on it, we have to speak a little about it. Do you think Riyan Parag's been given way too many opportunities and he hasn't stepped up?
Yeah, there'll be people who'd be disappointed with what he's done. And that's the conundrum in these formats, in every kind of series that you play, is like, how many chances do you give them? Gurtaz for Calcutta is the same example. Like, how long Do you stick?
Cricbuzz, you can't. And, yeah.
I mean, there's certain guys where you do eventually have to make the decision, and you've got to try and eliminate the motion. And that's the hardest part about being a captain or in the management, is when do you cut the rope? You know, when is it time to say, sorry, it's time to move on?
But with moving forward, Gujarat obviously has to go back to the drawing board and figure out the death over problem that they've been having. But positives also they have to take out from today's game. Shubman's inning, anything else which you feel was...
Shubman's innings, but again, Shubman, I felt, left them. If Shubman had gone on, this could have been a 190 odd total. I mean, I felt that Shubman now is of the quality of play that he needs to finish. Like we used to talk about Sanju Samson 2 years back, that much quality, he cannot be happy with 380 runs a year. He has to be for 480, 500 run player. So I think Samson has made that leap. I think Shubman has the quality, he has to make that leap. He has to say, I'm going to make big hundreds, I'm going to finish, I'm going to get more there. I'm not going to get bogged down after doing all the heavy running up front. I think that's the thing. I think their bowling, they'll look at it and say that we've got something decent. There's one worry though. I mean, on a pitch like this, I don't know what they're going to do. If they play on a spin-heavy wicket, Rashid is the only spinner who they're really using right now. And it'll be interesting to see how they go with that when they go to other pitches in grounds which are not so friendly for fast bowling, because this was a really good pitch. I really liked the pitch. To see that kind of movement in an IPL match was also such a pleasure. To see two slips in an IPL match, how often do you see that?
Absolutely, it's very exciting. It almost felt like you're watching Test cricket but with a white ball and coloured clothes, so it felt really nice to watch that. Time to move on to what's happening tomorrow, because, well, we said it's going to be a blockbuster Sunday, but tomorrow is going to be a really crazy game because Bangalore takes on Chennai at the Chinnaswamy. It's the 24th game with RCB taking on CSK.
It's normally low-key, isn't it?
Yeah, nobody. What game are we talking
It's a
about?
bit of a low-key affair, the Monday game.
Yeah. Nobody knows these guys. Who's this? Some Virat?
And some Dhoni.
Not really. You talk about it. I mean, we don't know very much.
But I mean, I'm glad they've put like a RCB CSK on a Monday when everyone has the Monday blues and you're just like, oh, it's Monday, you have to go back to office, but you at least have something to look forward to in the evening. It's Chennai versus RCB at the Chinnaswamy. What can we expect tomorrow?
No, absolutely fantastic. Except that, all Chennai is worried about is that hospital ward where all their fast bowlers are there. That's the one thing that will worry them because, you're going to the Chinnaswamy. It's not but actually this year the Chinnaswamy is helping spin. I mean,
and also the last match, RCB defended 175 if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So clearly it's not as big a score as which we usually see at the Chinnaswamy. One thing positive for RCB is finally the bowlers came to the party.
Yeah, Vishak came to the party, and Vishak coming good is fantastic for them because Siraj is taking wickets up front for them. If that happens with Harshal Patel coming in, if they get the third bowler there, and then what happens is that Maxwell, Shahbaz Ahmed, Hasaranga is there, they have enough bowling. They can even decide whether they go with Wayne Parnell or go with a batsman, somebody who's more of a batsman. So that is a choice they can make if Vishak bowls the way he did last time. And I think he's really shown them something. So 3 Indian pacers out there, Hasaranga is out there, lots of fifth bowler options between Shahbaz and Maxwell. They can even play Finn Allen, play the extra batsman if they want to. That's the good news for them that, a lot of other parts of their side are giving them options. Secondly, Virat is still in form. Important for them. Very important. This is, they've had a relatively long homestand. They have a 5-match road trip where 5 matches they play on the road. So it's important for them to make it count at the Chinnaswamy.
But do you think the problem probably is the middle order for them now? The last match, the death bowling was all right and it came to their rescue. But the middle order probably is what they need to focus on.
Yeah, I think. We've talked about in the last one. I think there's been 4 decent starts from the top 2. They do need a little bit more contributions. We saw Maxwell come good at one stage, but then didn't get going the next time around. But for me, I think the RCB problem is still later on bowling-wise. I mean, I thought Hasaranga would have an impact, but I mean, the pace he was bowling was like giving it air and being able to get distributed to all parts. And don't read too much into them defending 170. That was against Delhi. And Delhi have just not struck it at all with regards to the batting. So I still think they need more than that. I mean, even maybe an option, I was just looking at that list and thinking to myself, someone like a Josh Hazlewood, that extra bounce.
No, but Hazelwood's, I don't
saw
think
his
he's
name
fully
in the
fit. Is
squad
he
there.
fully fit? That's the question.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he's fit, he's just there for rehab, right? I don't think he's
Oh,
fully
okay.
fit
Yeah,
to play.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could go back to Willie because I just feel, I mean, they're doing a good job up front. We saw Parnell bowl nicely. We saw Mohammad Siraj bowl nicely. Harsha Patel does a good job. But that was in that first 6 overs. They keep getting wickets. They keep taking a lot of pressure off themselves. If they don't get those wickets against Chennai, and Chennai have got a good batting lineup,
Chennai's
then
good.
all of a sudden you really are under massive pressure in those last 6 or 7 overs. If you've got them 1 or 2 down and that firepower that they've got.
So Chennai, like you said, has a pretty strong batting lineup. Ruturaj Gaikwad has looked beautiful from the first match that he played, 92, that he got there. Ajinkya Rahane has come in and done things that nobody thought he would. Devin Conway has come to the party in the last match. So their batting seems to be firing.
Yeah, I'm really chuffed for Ajinkya, really. You watch him from the outside also. Bhattacharjya comes in often as their impact player. Ben Stokes, I don't think he's going to be back from an injury perspective. But I just like the way Rahane's kind of gone away and thought, okay, I've got the skills. I can bat. I can compete at the top level. How? What's my process going to be? And he's just worked out a little something. And that's great to see. I mean, I've worked with him at Mumbai in 2008 or 9 or what it was. And, he was just coming through. But he's always had that mindset of trying to improve himself.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, he's a very good friend of hers as well.
yeah, I think he'd kind of given up on what contribution he could make at the RPL. And he's been given a bit of a lifeline. He's gone there and they've played him. And he's answered that call a couple of times. And he'll enjoy that surface too. Because comes on, he won't be scared of going out to bat there. So it's been nice to see. And it's just given them a little bit more depth.
Joy, you think, is just the Dhoni magic wand, because every time there is someone who's low and probably down and out, people have written them off. Dhoni comes in, gives them some confidence, some magic boost, and here they are.
Absolutely. I think as a team, it's not just Dhoni. It's Dhoni, it's Stephen Fleming, it's the way they treat their players. It's the comfort they give their players, saying, okay, you're going to play these matches no matter what. You're going to get this opportunity, make the best of it, enjoy yourself, play. So they release players, they release the tension of players. Players are not sitting in this, domino this thing of selection. Okay, I'm in tomorrow, out tomorrow. I could be batting at 5 tomorrow, 3 tomorrow. Once Chennai fixes on something, they fix on it. And they say, okay, you're going to bat at 3 for a few matches. We'll see what happens after that. And that kind of, pressure release works very well with players like Rahane. Rahane has always been, he's come to Kolkata, he's had an opportunity, it hasn't worked out. After those Rajasthan days, he's always struggled after that. He had his best run in Rajasthan for a long, long time. And then after that, he hasn't just got those opportunities somewhere else. And I think that's really good. Again, you're right. I mean, it's not just Dhoni, but it's the entire team. It's everyone who gets together to make that magic happen. But, I mean, how many players is this? Nehra,
so many.
Robin Uthappa, Brendan towards the end, Dwayne Smith. All these players came and played their best cricket in Chennai before going out.
But there's a certain concern most CSK fans are going to have is they spoke about Dhoni and that knee injury. In the history of remembering Dhoni, you never relate an injury to Dhoni. It's almost like this man is injury free. So unfortunately for not only CSK fans, cricket lovers, not very nice thought if, Dhoni is missing out because of an injury, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, and difficult. I'm wondering, how they'll make up for him. Also because Magala, I think, is also split his webbing.
Yeah, he's out for 2 weeks as well.
He's out for 2 weeks, which means Thikshana is going to play. And their fast bowling is that cupboard is looking really
No
bad.
Deepak Chahar either.
No Deepak Chahar either. So, you're really struggling among your reserves. Siranjit Singh has gone out already. Simarjit Singh has gone out already. So, you're looking at very few options out there. And that's the one thing they look at. Akash Singh, they threw the ball to Tushar Deshpande. One of those two, or even two of those may play tomorrow. They may have to play Pretorius just to give themselves a seam bowling option up front once Magala is gone. So those are the things that they need to really worry about. It's their bowling which needs to be there. I still think they're a bit now, given the kind of injuries they've had, they're a bit like Mumbai now. Very strong team chasing, but defending may not be easy with the kind of unit they have.
And don't worry about Dhoni's knee. He's a man of platinum. He'll be there.
All right, so your 2 picks for tomorrow, if you have to pick 2 players to watch out for tomorrow.
Who am I going to go for? I've got to go for someone who we haven't discussed, hey? Moeen Ali He's played a little bit.
You took my boy. Anyways,
He's played a little bit for RCB, right? So, and now he's moved across there. So, I like to see how he goes. So I'll do him from Chennai squad, and then I'm thinking Maxwell. I think Maxwell is an important player for RCB tomorrow. He has to come good in the middle. I think he needs to really strike and get some momentum going. So those are the two I'm keen to watch. The middlemen.
Okay, the middleman. I'll go with one of the openers, which is Rituraj, because I think he's so crucial to the starts they get. On a small ground like this, if he gets going, I think he can do really well. From the Bangalore side, I'll make a out of left field pick, Vishak, because I think if he comes in the middle and he gives them the kind of overs he gave them last time, it could be a very crucial factor. They defended the total to a large extent also because the kind of wickets he took in the middle. And I think I'd really be interested in seeing whether, again, the first match, everything goes right. But you know what happens in second matches with so many players. I hope he goes well.
Another point of interest will be the Faf knock, because having played for Chennai as much as he did,
yeah, exactly.
They'll have an idea about his strengths, weaknesses. I mean, when you play in the same side, you get to understand, guys, whether it's net practices or you watch matches and whether, he was under pressure there, you're lucky to get through. So they should have some good ideas. So I'm looking forward to seeing what plans they bring in for when they play against Faf.
We'll wait and watch because it's going to be one exciting game tomorrow. Let's have a look at the points table because Rajasthan have gone to the top after picking up their points today, the miracle points that they got today. Gujarat are at number 3. They've, would have expected to go up, but they didn't pick up those 2 points. And Kolkata is at 5th and Mumbai is still down there at...
But there's the importance, Chennai, Bangalore. You have a look at that. So you win, you go up to 6 and you go into those top 5. If you don't, you stay down there. And then the teams that are below you, with regards to Mumbai and Hyderabad, they've still got a game in hand. Then all of a sudden you're starting to think, well, we're going to be in the bottom 3 here. So it's a massively important game. I know it's still early, but still an important one. But as we were saying, what is it? Bangalore versus Chennai? Really?
Who knows, Dhoni? Who knows Virat? Yeah. Who are these boys?
Well, there was one joy factor question he's asked you all about, why Samson is not in the team, but we have to answer today's question, so all yours.
Father and son pair. Father made a century in his World Cup debut. Actually, in India, the son took 5 wickets on his World Cup debut. Which 2 cricketers are we talking about? And the answer is Jeff Marsh and Mitch Marsh, of course. Ooh. Jeff Marsh scored, I think, 102 against India it was, and Mitch Marsh against England in the 2015 World Cup got 5 on debut.
Yeah, that would have been the surprise, hey? You wouldn't, when you don't really associate Mitch Marsh with 5, you would think...
Mitch Marsh is, back holding up to take 5 wickets is a rare thing.
Strange. Anyway, good question.
You almost got it after a whole lot of guesses.
Yeah, a lot of guesses. I was going down the route of New Zealand. Yeah. There's been so many. I thought actually the Cairns.
Yeah, because they're small.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
players.
Bracewells and people that all played.
But I'm sure we have a whole lot of answers. Let's see who's answered it first, because we have a lot of correctly and first, because we have a lot of intelligent people completely there to answer Joy's questions.
Oh, this is a new name. I haven't seen it before.
Bhattacharjya Saiyami. He answered another question the other day when Harsha was there, if I'm not wrong. So it's nice to see your name coming in again for the second time. Keep them coming. New name for you, but
new name for me, fantastic.
New fans coming.
Well done.
But because we get so consistently, there's the same people that answer. I think we need to get a time clock on that.
No, that's
so how long from when the question goes out until they get an answer?
There is the one who comes in first.
Yeah, I know that one is, but we need to know how quickly.
Oh, how quickly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like is it down to seconds or minutes or it can't be hours? It can't be hours.
It's a good idea. I'm sure we can get
because
that.
Because we can maybe get a brand new record, a record for the quickest answer.
Exactly. Our producers don't do any work, obviously.
Yeah.
All day.
We see them just sitting around here.
They just spend 18 hours here sitting and sleeping around. So here's something more for them to do.
Well, our producers really want to get some sleep because they are very hard-working people. It's been a lovely day. Thank you very much for making this so much fun. Am I seeing you all tomorrow, or do you all get some time off?
No, we're only here for the big games, not Bangalore, Chennai.
I know. You're
off as well.
I'm off as well. But I'm sure you'll have a great one tomorrow.
Tomorrow is going to be an exciting day. Mr. Bhattacharya is a very social man. He has to go out for some parties right now. So we don't have time. We don't have time at all right now because he has to go partying. But thank you so much for joining in. And don't forget to join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Good night and goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
Hyderabad 50 express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दें